Hello, my name is Kojansow. I'm from class General Linguistics A and I will be explaining the lessons that I've learned during the semester about general linguistics. First off, I'm going to start with the definition of general linguistics, and that is linguistics is a science which attempts to understand language from the point of view of internal as well as external structures. The examples of internal structures are syntax, semantics, morphology, and phonology. Syntax is the arrangement of words in sentences, clauses, and phrases. Semantics is the study of the meaning of words and sentences. Morphology, a study of morpheme and their arrangement in forming a word. Phonology, the study of sound structures in language. There are also external structures, for example, sociolinguistics, which is the study of linguistic behavior as determined by sociocultural factors. Language functions. There are three main language functions. One, to question and answer. Second is to mirror human lives, as in we can tell people's origin from the way they speak. And three, according to Plato, function of language is to express the human mind. The function of language has changed when the Bible was translated to English. The Bible, being the holy words of God, is the sacred book of the Christians. The literary influence of the Bible has been tremendous, all-pervasive and perennial. In fact, the Bible has been providing the Englishmen of letters, spiritual themes, and also modulated their literary style. It has gifted ample vocabulary, most beautiful quotations, maxims, and phrases. The whole range of English language and literature is much inevitable to the Bible for its dignity and richness. Bible is divided into two parts, as we all know it: the Old Testament and the New Testament. The Old Testament consists of 39 books, and the New 27, making in all 66 of the entire Bible. In the world of English poetry, such as Milton, Wordsworth, Coleridge, Keats, Mary Shelley, Pope, Dryden, Tennyson, and Browning, were highly charged up with the light of the Bible. English drama has also been influenced by the Bible. In fact, it was in the middle of the church that English drama was born and brought up. Previously, miracle and morality plays of the Middle Ages originated from Bible. Playwrights like Marlowe, Shakespeare, T.S. Eliot, G.B. Shaw owed so much to Bible, among other writers as well, like Cromwell, Wesley, Richard, George Fox, Emerson, Walt Whitman, Abraham Lincoln, and also Mahatma Gandhi were under the influence in that changed their outlook and sharpened their imagination. In other words, the function of language can also be to influence others. And then there's language meaning. Language meaning is a kaleidoscope picture of the world, according to Benjamin Lee Whorf, and also according to Edward Sapir, a purely human and non-instinctive method of communicating ideas, emotions, and desires by means of a system of voluntary produced symbols. Language is not only a means of communication between humans, not only a tool to influence each other, not only as a path of information, but language is information, a tool of expressing friendship and enmity, an indicator of one's social status, determines the role of each speaker, determines the goals and inspiration of social groups, and determines the characteristics of each language community, according to J. Fishman. Ferdinand de Saussure, the father of linguistics, introduced his book, Cours de linguistique générale, and that book has three terms: langue, parole, and language. Langue is an abstract concept that is stored in one's mind as a product of convention of society. Parole is more a concrete concept because it appears as a form of speech act by language users. And then there's language, which is a language in general, basically. As a concept in linguistics, the terms langue and parole are concepts that will never be separated. Parole arises due to use of language. Writing a speech is an example of parole because it involves writing acts that are similar to speech acts. And then there are two types of languages. One, verbal, using words, and then there's non-verbal. For example, body language, sign language, and eyes gaze. And then moving on to the origin of language. This involves a lot of theories, like the speculation theory, Bao theory, humanity theory, cybernetic theory, Popo theory, and then Ding Dong theory. There's also language characteristics that says language is sound, language is linear, language is symbolic, language have both phonetic and grammatical system, language is arbitrary, language is conventional, language is contrast, language is creative, language is unique. And then moving on, we have phonetics, a study of the human sounds. Phonetic is divided into three types according to production, transmission, and perception. They have their own terms. Production have another term which is called articulatory. Transmission have another term called acoustics, and perception have another term called audition of sounds. Place of articulation. In articulatory phonetics, the place of articulation of a consonant is the point of contact where an obstruction occurs in the vocal tract between an articulatory gesture and active articulator and a passive location. Moving on, there's vowels. And there's major of vowels. There's monophthongs, diphthongs, and triphthongs. Monophthongs, the most basic vowel sound, is known as monophthongs, divided into two, short and long vowels. Long vowels is traditionally a monophthong, though is long E represented by the N. Diphthongs is a single syllable vowel which in the beginning of the sound glides to another slightly different vowel. Triphthongs, very rarely, a single syllable may contain three vowel sounds that quickly glide together. There are basic diphthongs like A, I, O, and U. There are also open vowels, sounds produced with the tongue far from the roof of the mouth. And then there's closed vowels, sounds produced with the tongue touching the roof of the mouth. And then we come into phoneme, a unit of sound that can distinguish one word from another in a particular language. Then there's morpheme. A morpheme is the smallest meaningful lexical item. in a language. A morpheme is not necessarily the same as a word. The main difference between a morpheme and a word is that a morpheme sometimes does not stand alone, but a word, by definition, always stands alone. The field of linguistic study dedicated to morpheme is called morphology. In English, when a morpheme can stand alone, it is considered a root because it has a meaning of its own. For example, the word cat. It's a root because it has a meaning of cat, the animal. Then there's two types of morpheme. There are the free morphemes, which can function independently as words and can appear within lexemes. Then there's bound morphemes, which only appears as part of words, always in conjunction with another and sometimes with other bound morphemes. Classifications of bound morphemes. There are the derivational morphemes, which combine with root, change the semantics meaning or the speech of the affected word, the part of speech of the affected word. Influential morphemes. This morpheme modify the tense, aspect, mood, person, or number of a verb, or the number, gender, or case of a noun, adjective, or pronoun without affecting the word's meaning or class. And then there's syntax. Syntax is the study of how words and morpheme combine to form longer units such as phrases and sentences. Central concerns of syntax include word order, grammatical relations, sentence structure, agreement, hierarchical sentence structure, the nature of cross-linguistics variation, and the relationship between form and meaning. There are three main syntactic models. Dependency grammar, which is an approach to sentence structure where syntactic units are arranged according to the produce relation, as opposed to the consistory of phrase structure relation of structure grammars. Categorical grammar. This is an approach in which constant combine of function and argument according to combinatory possibilities specified in their syntactic categories, functional grammars, and then there's functional grammars. Function models of grammar study the form of function interaction by performing a structural and a fictional analysis.